If you search how to beat procrastination, you'll find tips like the 5-minute rule. This states that you set just 5 minutes to do what you're avoiding and allow yourself to stop when time runs out. Here's a tip that works better than that rule. The 5-minute rule uses an arbitrary measurement of progress, time passed. As you work in those 5 minutes, you could be eyeing the clock, counting down the seconds, or subconsciously anticipating the moment the time runs out. It doesn't guarantee that you achieved anything really to get you on that roll. So after school, even if I am so tired and dreading doing homework and the last thing I want to do is study, I'll do just one math problem and say I'll do something fun right after I've done that. After just one problem, I'll feel so accomplished and be like, well, one more problem can't hurt. So what's the better rule? It's to tell yourself that you'll do one full task, and then you must stop after you've done that one thing and do something that excites you. Your anticipation now will make you more focused on the goal of actually completing the thing, rather than just having the timer run out. You'll be so much more zoned in and you'll actually see how easy or hard the task was in the first place. Plus, when you actually complete the concrete task, you'll feel true satisfaction just like I did on my math homework. That first tip tackles one root cause of procrastination, being daunted by the task. Hey team, it's Amy. This video is not your typical beat procrastination video. We're going to learn tips that tackle the root causes of procrastination, including the following. You'll learn what helped me become valedictorian as a varsity athlete, even with 8 hours of sleep and a social life. Plus, all that I share on my channel helped me get into one of the best universities in the world, the California Institute of Technology. Don't get me wrong, I procrastinate too, but across these past 2 months, each time I catch myself procrastinating, I reflect on why I'm doing it and how I get myself back on track so that I can make this video and help you guys reduce your procrastination. The ultimate procrastination killer is at the end of this video. Let's go. Lacking urgency. Oftentimes, students procrastinate because they're lacking a true sense of urgency.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Think about it. We live pretty comfortable lives, so if you don't complete your homework and you spend an hour binging Netflix, well, you still have food on the table for tonight. You're not going to be left out in the cold. Everything's still fine. That's why the solution for this root cause is to set soft deadlines with consequences. I talked about this a little bit in a previous video, but here's a spin on it. The thing about me is that I actually really love having fun and going to social events, almost a little too much. So I will say yes to things even when I haven't completed my homework yet. For example, if something's due in a week, I'm going to say yes and proactively make fun plans, perhaps a few days before the actual deadline, such that to do the fun thing I really want to do, I have to get the thing done earlier before the fun event. Therefore, create situations for yourself that you're so excited about, like events to go to, where if you don't complete the thing a few days early, then you cannot go. After committing to something fun and that disappointment of not going, I'm sure you'll find that urgency next time. If you feel too comfortable in your situation such that you procrastinate, then proactively add that sprinkle of discomfort in the form of urgency that you need. If you found these tips helpful so far, please leave me a like because these videos take a lot of effort to make and I want to continue making these for you guys. Oftentimes we fall into the trap of letting stress control you rather than being in control of stress.
Oh my God! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait, calm down!
For example, when you have 1 hour left before homework is due, at 11:59 p.m. I know you guys do that. Well, your efficiency just skyrockets because you feel that deadline approaching. You get stressed and wow, suddenly you don't procrastinate. So how can we, instead of being a victim to stress, leverage it? There are 2 types of motivation, positive and negative. While positive motivation is expecting a reward, negative motivation is avoiding pain or punishment. I find that a little too often YouTube videos talk a lot about positive motivation. However, studies show that a combination of both types of motivation is most effective. In fact, negative motivation is a lot more effective for some people. In my experience in school and as a private tutor, negative motivation is especially effective for students. So no, unfortunately, this video is not about daisies and rainbows and telling you everything's okay to avoid procrastination.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Instead, this tip is to remind yourself of the stress or bad feelings you had when you procrastinated such that before you reach that level of stress, you'll want to avoid it and therefore do your work now. So the solution here is to fear stress, specifically to put yourself in a state where you can imagine that terrible stress and bad feelings of cramming you might have down the road if you procrastinate, such that in this current moment, you'll do whatever in your power it is to not feel what you're scared of. I remember feeling the stress of cramming biology for those quizzes on mitochondria, and I remember the awful pit in my stomach when I got a bad grade on my linear algebra test. So in a moment of truth, when I'm deciding between, hey, do I procrastinate and look at these wonderful little apps on my phone, or 2, do I look at this ugly textbook? Well, I'm like, I hated that feeling I got before, so I'm gonna choose the one that avoids that bad feeling. I know it's kind of hard sometimes to remember those potential punishments, so what I recommend, as always, is to make a visual that you can always reference, that you can easily see when it's your moment of truth. Perhaps you can make a list of last time I procrastinated and all the bad things that happened that you want to avoid, so you fear that stress. If you've ever procrastinated, I promise you have had some bad feeling that you want to avoid. You guys told me that sometimes procrastination comes from your fear of failure. I do think this is something I trained myself not to have, because I built my confidence over time with tips I talked about in this video. So by leveling up your self-esteem with how I explain here and doing self-care, that's gonna really help you psychologically not fear failure, because you'll be excited to actually achieve instead. But better yet, the ultimate killer of procrastination is, dun dun dun, to fear death. Morbid, I know, but hear me out. So the fear of death sounds so negative and, oh, Amy, why are you saying this? But it can actually turn into a positive thing to make the most of your one life. And this is what I subconsciously used in school, even before I read it in this book. You know the sayings about how the biggest regrets in your life are not failing, but it's when you failed to try. The thing is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You guarantee yourself to already fail if you don't try. Who knows the amazing things you can achieve with your potential if you don't use it? Time is short, life is short. You are in your prime years right now, so go get that achievement that's already inside you. Well, if that didn't stick, then think of it this way. Time is much more valuable than money. Would you flush $100 down your toilet? If not, why would you flush an hour down the toilet? Even worse, look at your screen time. How much time every day are you flushing down the toilet? I'm saying toilet too much. This is starting to sound gross. But that's exactly how you should be thinking about it. Visualize you flushing your precious time down the toilet. And it should be a gross feeling that makes you stop doing it. I'm a firm believer that to truly fix problems, we have to tackle the root cause. I can't cover all of your specific situations, so what is your root cause? How would you tackle it yourself? Like the last tip, what can you do to make yourself willing to not procrastinate? You're not lazy, but what if you're just super unmotivated? Then watch this video where you can find out what most people get wrong about motivation and how you can get ahead of them. You will be insanely more productive if you combine these procrastination tips I shared with you today with the mindsets in this video. If you really want progress, try these tips one at a time. Good job, team. This was more of a tips format video, so let me know if you like this or story time formats better. Thank you for watching. Let's go A-team.